All right, so we're gonna. I think last time we left off on getting the equations down pat. Did you do any practicing on the equations?
But I
No.
did do the exercise.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you good now?
That's fine.
You good now?
Yeah.
Alright, we just started.
But actually, I know they're on.
She's there, Wi-Fi is good. And sure.
Okay, no problem. Pardon?
Hello?
Hello.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, good. Alright.
Good, that's Karen's, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you started too?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, man, I got you. I got you. All right, so Chandrika, you tried which one? Or you didn't?
That would be the interest, the exchange rate that you're
Right.
referring to? That's what you're referring to?
You did
I
it?
didn't do the exercise,
Okay.
it was smooth.
Smooth.
After I realized who was on
I got you. I got you. So after you realize it was smooth.
Right.
All right. So we go over it again. But let's just continue with our rates. So we understand that when something has a face value or nominal rate, you get what you get. So if you have $1,000 and the bank says they're paying you 12%, you're actually gonna get your $1,012. That's pretty straightforward. No, I lied. If you don't 12%, it's 11.20, right? Am I right? Let's try it. So it's been a long day.
Same here,
I know, right?
same here.
So it's 11.20. Okay? That's typically what you would expect to spend if a bank tells you it's 12%. You're paying 12% per year. However, how it works with compound interest and how it works is that you have to actually use whatever is the most recent date at the time that they're accruing interest. So if they choose to accrue interest quarterly, that means then that you are applying interest to your account 4 times per year. So what happens is you will take your 12% and then you divide that by 4. All right, so that means that every time interest hits for that year, it's 3%. Now the interesting thing is that your 3% is like we said accrued on what that balance is at that particular time. So if you have a loan that you started January 1st, right? That means every 3 months you'll get your interest payment. So that means March, June, September, December. Okay? You would be paying interest. That means every time interest hits, that means for March, you pay $1,000 plus your 3%, and that's how much? $1,030, right? What happens then is in June, you take your $1,030 and then you apply your 3% of that, which is no problem. Now what's my answer there? Anybody? So you have $1,030 and you multiply it by 3%, and what would you get?
We had added additional $30,
That's $1,060.90, somebody said?
Yeah.
Okay, So then September comes, $1,060.90. You multiply that by 0.03, and what do you get? Pardon?
318.27.
I doing this right?
No,
I lied.
31.87. Am I wrong?
No, you ain't wrong. Yeah, that's what I was doing wrong. To get this answer, what I should have been doing is doing that. So tell me what you get when you do that. Because what you would have done was done that 1,000 times that, and then you add that to the 1,000. You do 1030 times that, and then add it to the 1030. But what do you get when you get that? 1060.9 times 1.03.
192.727.723.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 1092.73. Everybody get that? Dre, Gary, you're getting that right?
Why we at
One?
the 1 year?
Because essentially what it's saying is that you're kind of skipping a step. Because if you were getting this answer here, you would have had to do 1,000 times 0.030, whatever you would have gotten 30. And then you take your 1,000 plus your 30, and then that's what would be your answer. When you do this, is that you're multiplying it by itself first, plus the 3%. It's just an arithmetic way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright. So now you take your 1092 and 73 cents and you multiply that by 1.03, and what do you get? So we see the difference, right? Your bank would tell you 12% per year, and you're expected to only pay the bank $11.20. But when you're paying them quarterly, which you're actually paying the bank at the end of the day, is $11.25 and 51 cents. Make sense? No? Yeah? You get enough. I got you. No problem. So, when we talk about effective annual rate, it's what you're actually paying the bank at the end of the day. Your face value of a loan says you're paying 12%, but what you're actually paying the bank depends really on how many times is interest compounded during the year. So let's work it out. So you get your $1,000 and they tell you you're paying 3% quarterly. How do you work out your effective annual rate? Sorry. 12% quarterly. What happens is whenever you see a percentage in your equation, if it doesn't have any, what's what I'm looking for? Payment schedule at the end of it, always know that your interest rate is an annual rate. What comes after that, which will be monthly, quarterly, daily, is how many times is interest accrued during the year. If they say they pay you 12% annually, you will work it out just like this. Okay? But if they tell you you're paying 12% quarterly, then you will do this EAR. Okay, so you take your 12% quarterly. The first step that you do is you take your percentage that you're paying and you divide it by how many times you're paying per year. If you're paying quarterly, how many times are you paying per year? 4 times. So that means every time interest hits, you're paying 3%. Good so far? Second step is you take your percentage and you make it into a decimal. How do you do that? Let's go back to grade. Ken? How do you make a percentage a decimal?
Divided by 100.
Right. So you take your 3 divided by 100, you get 0.03. How do you make your decimal into an integer? An integer being a whole number. How do you make that into a whole number?
So you multiply now?
How do you make it into a whole number? How do you make, let's try it again. How do you make it into a whole number?
You multiply it by something.
You just add 1.
Oh,
Okay? You make any decimal into a whole number by adding 1, because 1 is your lowest whole number. Make sense? Not yet? We get there. Alright? Your fourth step is that then you now take that and you would put it to the power of how many times you compound interest for that year. How many times would that be?
4.
You sure?
If it's quarterly.
Okay, then I just want to make sure. What's my answer?
Or 126.
1.126, right? How do you now take this integer and make it into a decimal?
Subtract the 1.
You just reverse what you did here at number 3. How do you make this integer into a percentage?
Multiply it by 100.
What's my answer? Where do you see that again? So how much are you paying every year on this loan? Well, how much are you paying on your first year on this loan? In total. In interest. In principal plus interest.
This 12.6%.
Right? So you multiply that 12.6% by what? You add that 12.6% to what?
Okay, you start with 1,000.
To your $1,000, right? So you viewing this as an investment. So you put $1,000 in the bank, which is your term deposit, and they promise you 12% per year. At the end of the year, they're going to pay you $1,112.60. Sorry, $1,126. Make sense? No? Yeah? No? No? Okay. What you do is you take your $1,000, you want to know how much interest you're paying for that year? What you're actually being paid is 12.6% because they said I'm going to pay you quarterly. Same thing happened here. At the end of the year, you got paid how much? $11.25.51. When you round it up, it's $1,126. Same thing as what you got here. So what you do is with this is you take your $1,000, you multiply by your 12.6, and you get how much? $126 is your interest that you're getting for that year. Right? So you want to know how much you get principal plus interest. You take your 1,000 plus your 126, and you get 1126 that you expect to be in your account. That's going to be your account balance at the end of the year. It's still fuzzy? Still unclear? It clear? It ain't clear?
Getting there.
Let's try one more time. That's why we're going to spend the rest of our weeks dealing with. So that first class was just kind of getting all the little kinks out, the little words, and little relaxing and get you right in the groove. And now you just drop everything on you one time. All right. So Everybody with that example down?
It's too late, it's fine.
Okay. Alright, so your first thing is this. You're gonna put $5,000 in the bank. They promise to pay you 15% monthly. How much would be my balance at the end of the year? Y'all see it right, Drea and Garanese?
Barely. But I heard you.
Sorry, yeah, 5,000, 15% monthly. I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to work it out. Then we're gonna have a brainstorm, walk us through. We good? No? I got you. Let's see. All right. So y'all can walk me through as you go along. You want to know how much your balance is at the end of the year, right? So what you do is this. You don't worry about this in the first instance, the $5,000. What you do is this. You say 15%. If you're doing it monthly, how many times for the year is your interest being accrued? 12. You sure?
It's 12 months in a year.
You sure? I just make sure. Dre, you good?
Yeah,
12?
yes.
Oh, what's your answer? You have an answer, Dre?
No, not yet.
You have an answer? Sorry, Shandrika? Shandika. Sorry, Shandika. You have an answer? Alright, so take your 15 divided by 12 and what do you get?
1925. Oh, it was on the right track.
There you go.
One.
Don't get scared. 1.25%. That means every time interest accrues in this account, you are being paid 1.25%.
Which, 1 second, would you divide?
15 divided by 12.
Oh, okay.
Because it's done monthly, so that means for the year, which is this figure here, interest is hitting it. So you take your 15 divided by 12. Because at the end of the year, you're not going to be paid more than that stated 15%. Okay? So, number 2. What do you do next? Take your 1.25 divided by 100 to get 0.0125. We good so far? You got there so far?
Yeah, it is.
I got you. Alright. What's the next step?
The one.
No, I don't think. Yeah, that's why I stopped.
I got you. You come so far. 1.0125.
I just stop right there.
And you stop right there too. Taria, you going further than this?
Nope.
Nope. Yeah, I got you. So number 4 is you take your 1.0125 and you would put that to the power of how many times you pay interest for the year.
Okay.
Which is what?
And it's monthly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 12 months. 12.
So with this section, that's when at this piece right there, are we dividing, multiplying?
To the power of. What's the difference with just multiplying it by 12 and putting it to the power of 12?
I should know, but I can't remember.
When you multiply by 12, it's just linear. So then that means every month you'll just be doing 1.025, 1.0125, 1.0125 against a flat 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. Why is that wrong?
Because, as you pay, it should go down, and then if we do it that way.
No, but but this your term deposit.
Okay.
So same concept. As you pay it, it should go.
It should decrease.
No, this isn't a loan. This is a term deposit.
Oh.
So as they pay you interest, your balance should do what? Increase. So your balance won't be the same 5,000 every month. So 12 is when if you're doing it linear, you will multiply by 12. But when you go to the power of 12, you're compounding. Everybody understand that? No? Yeah? Drea, you got me? Drea? I think you're muted. Pardon? I hear you. You're...
Kind of lost right now.
Okay, tell me where you got lost.
Those nights.
Alright, let's try again. You have your 15%. The bank promises to pay you on your term deposit 15% for the year. Okay? So you jump on that deal. The bank tells you though, they're going to pay this 15% over 12 months. Make sense?
Right.
So that means every month they won't pay you 15%. They pay you at 12 or 15%. That's really what this is. They pay you at 12 or 15%. To make it easier, if you were back in school, they would tell you 15 times 1 over 12. Because that's your monthly. If it's quarterly, they'll say 15 times 1 over 4. Make sense? We got so far, Drea?
Yeah.
Okay. Second step is you take your 1.25% and you have to use that, so you have to make that into a decimal So you take your 1.25 and you divide it by 100 to get 0.0125. We good?
Yeah.
Okay. So you take your 0.0125 and then you add 1 because you have to multiply against that. If you multiply against a decimal, what's going to happen to your number? Is it going to get greater or is it going to decrease? Anybody? No, if you take any number and you multiply by a decimal, or a decimal is only a,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, because a decimal is only a fraction of a number. So the reason why you add 1 is because any number multiplied by itself is it's same. So it could, the only way that a number will never decrease is if you multiply it by 1 plus something else. Make sense? Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, 0.0125 plus, and that's why we add the 1 here. Because we need to multiply this, but not get a lesser amount. So you get 1.0125. We good so far?
Yeah.
So you take your 1.0125 and you put to the power of 12 because interest is accruing or hitting your account 12 times for that year. We good? Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah? Yep. Good. So what's my answer? 1.161.
1.
What?
No, 1.1607.
1.1607. Okay?
Okay, I have a confession.
What's your confession?
How do you actually calculate it? Like using the calculator?
Okay, no problem. So you take your 1.0125. Your power button is this is your square, this is your thing on. Oh, here it is. You press that. and then you put 12.
Yeah, some sellers. Thank you.
No problem. Alright? So on your calculator, you'll either see an upside down V, looking like that, or you'll see a Y to the power of X. Either one of them, you would press, and then you put how many times? No, that'll just make it square. So see it right here.
Yeah, I mean, I just
Yeah.
asked.
I gotcha. Alright? So 1.1607. How do you then, what do you then do with this? 1.1607. You take back off your 1 because you already used your 1. Right? So 1.1607 minus 1 is 0.1607. And then you make that into a
So it'll be times 100. 0.7 times 100.
actually what you could have done.
I get it. What I did was I stopped at the 6, so I do one like from the third, fourth, fourth one. That's what
That's what you do, right?
I adjusted it afterwards, but then for number 4, I only stopped at.
This year?
I only stopped at 1.16. I didn't do it over.
That's fine. Because what actually, that ain't fine. What you can actually do is put it to the four decimal places.
Okay.
And what happens here is that you're going to start at number 4 and multiply that by your base, your principal, which is what? And that's how much your account balance would be at the end of the year.
So you suggest that we skip 5 and 6?
You go to 5 and 6 when you're working out your EAR. when you're looking at for your, because what you're gonna do when you work out it, you would have just taken this 5,000, multiply it by this, and then add that figure to your 5,000 anyway. But remember now,
Say it again, please.
what you would have done to get the same answer.
Mm-hmm.
Let's work on the answer. What'd you get?
503.5.
Now work this out. 5,000 times 16.07%. Look at two of y'all. Y'all just two of y'all stop at the same point, like.
No,
Yeah,
no.
two of y'all stop at the same point.
I got it though. I got the same thing.
What you got?
The same, not
You don't
that.
get the same thing.
No, oh no, I didn't.
5,000 times 16.07. Where's your percentage? Right there. So you do a function. Okay, equals 803.50, right? And then you just take that 803.50 and then you add it to your 5,000,
Same thing.
and this is what you've gotten in any event. So when you want to find out what your balance would be at the end of the year, what you would have paid or what they would have paid you, stop at number 4. If you want to find out your EAR, which they're going to ask you in your exam, you can go straight to number 6.
What is the EAR?
Effective annual rate. In the spirit of banks telling you what you actually, okay, when it was the credit crisis, what they found was that banks were advertising these low rates, but not telling them how much times interest accrues for the year. Right? So what happens is the more times interest accrues for the year, the more you're paying the bank. If you're paying a loan. The more times interest accrues for the year, the better for you if the bank is paying you interest on your term deposit. The more interest paid for the year is an upside for the person who is lending and a downside for the person who's borrowing. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay? So what happens, because the more times you're paying interest, the more times you're recalculating that. That's why too, if you add on something on your mortgage every year, every month, in addition to what you're paying in your loan payment, you pay the mortgage off faster because you're compounding interest on a different figure every time you go in to pay a mortgage. Make sense? No?
You done.
Dre, you good?
Yeah.
Alright. So, you all say y'all good? Tell me 2 things. I want to know what my EAR is, and I want to know what my balance is at the end of the month. At the end of the year. If I put $7,500 in the bank, and they're gonna pay me 8% bi-weekly. Tell me what my EAR is, and then tell me what my balance would be at the end of the year. You can say that right, Drea. Are you ready?
Bi-weekly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You say who? You wish I could just stop you? Tria, how you coping?
Yeah, like things are good right now.
It's okay.
I was.
It's okay. All right.
So always you get different answers.
First step. Let's go. What's our first step? 8% bi-weekly. Tell me, what did you get 8% bi-weekly? Tria, what did you do?
That's the way.
So we divide the 8 by the 26 payment.
What? You said my. That's correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So bi-weekly
Okay,
is
good.
every 2 weeks.
I was
Okay,
almost
So
there.
how many every 2
I
weeks
was
you have
almost
any?
there. No. Okay, okay.
How many every 2 weeks you have in a year?
I was on the right track,
And then what happened? You've just gone off the track?
kinda.
Alright, let's go. 8 divided by 26.
0.3076.
Pardon?
0.3076.
0.0376%. Right? Second step. Make that into a decimal.
3.076. Am I right or am I wrong? Oh, no. That's not what I got.
I may be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. 0.376.
We divided that by 100, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Divided by 100.
You're missing something.
I am. So it's
0.3076. No, 0.3076. You're still missing a zero.
That's what I did. Okay.
So then what you get? 0. So that's saying 3.076 to the power of 3, right? So what it's actually saying is 0.003076. Anybody else got that?
I should have asked. I saw it, but then I wasn't
Yeah,
sure. I
I
should have
got
asked.
Yeah. So that plus 3, you see that? Shows
It's
that
a minus, no.
minus 3, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Yeah. So let's go.
Okay, so I
Add 1.
have to solve the L.
To get what your balance will be at the end of the year, all you have to do is this. What do you get?
What's that? Oh, okay.
You add the 1
Okay. Got that.
and you multiply. Oh, sorry. I missed a whole step.
Yeah, I did.
You're supposed to take that 0.0376, 0.00376, and add 1. Right? And you get your 1.003076. And then number 4, you say 1.003076 to the power of what?
26?
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get pretty confidence. Tell me what you get. That's your yeah.
You got a show now.
1.08231.
Pardon?
1.08331.
331?
So this one,
1.08.
331.
331. You could multiply that by your 7,500. And what's your balance at the end of the year?
What's Oh, I got something. Oh, 8, 3, 3, 9. I got one.
Okay, I get this far.
You did?
1.08 part.
1.08331 times 7,500 is what?
Are you
Definitely
sure
sure.
it's 108,331?
Pardon?
I mean, if you got something to defend.
No, it's not.
8,100.
What she said.
What she said? Now what I see here.
I mean, it's.
Hold on.
It's
1.0831. You got that? 1.0831? That could make or break you.
I have to start over. I want to start over.
8,123 and 46 cents. Yeah?
I didn't get that far because what I did was I made an error on 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's fine, but you understand what to do now.
I do.
Yeah, if you miss a zero or you put a zero in the wrong place, I can throw your whole equation
It
out.
will.
Okay? So at the end of the year, your account should have $8,123.46. Yeah? Fair enough? No?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. Now, if you were working at your EAR,
Yeah, you did.
you'd have done that. Number 5, you'd have done, you'd have what? Take in this.
Take away one.
1.0831, take away 1 equals 0.0831. So that means your EAR is 8.31%. What did the bank tell you they're paying you at the end of the year? 8%. What they're actually paying you, because they're paying you so frequently, is 8.31%. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
The last example you showed us with 12%. Why is it so different from this? Because with this it's only like 0.31 difference, but another one is it jumped from like 12% to 16%.
No, it didn't. It did. It was 15%,
Oh,
and it jumped to 16%.
sorry, that was the other example
No problem.
that I didn't finish.
I got you. All right.
Then it's oh yeah, we have
Yeah. So it ain't that much, but it's still a good chunk. All right. So this is what you work out when you work the EAR. And if your question has a part C that says how much interest does your bank pay you if they pay you 8% bi-weekly on 7,500, how would you work that out? How much interest did you accrue for the year? How much interest did you accrue for the year if you put in $7,500 at 8% paid bi-weekly?
So the interest is
2.31%.
You go straight to number 4.
Mm-hmm.
You take your 8123, subtract your 7,500, and whatever that difference is what they pay you with interest. Remember that your 75% is your principal. That's what you put down. And this is if you don't put nothing else on your account for the year. 7,500. And then that means then that you would have made $623.41 in interest for that year. We good? Clear as mud?
I think for me, to take it a notch back for me,
Mm-hmm.
because effective annual rate, so you need to explain that. Like I know how to work it out. What exactly is it like? Explain
What it is?
Yeah.
What it is what you're actually paying or being paid at the end of the year when you take into effect compound interest. Remember that compound interest is not just regular interest, because compound interest means that they are paying you more than once for that year, and it means that they are paying you on whatever the balance is as at that particular date when they promised they would pay you your interest.
So this is basically like if you have a savings account?
You have a savings, if you have a
Or
credit
fixed
card, any loan. See, what happens is, depending on what side of the equation you're on,
Mm-hmm.
it depends on if you win or if you lose.
Okay.
Because if you're the bank, if you lend the bank money by putting in the term deposit, you win. The more they pay you interest, the more you win. If you're on the flip side and you paying them back their credit card, the more they pay interest, the more you, okay, and that's why they tell you only use in a month which you can pay off. Because anything with your card, because what you don't pay off, you pay interest on that every month. So if you go and you buy a ticket for $1,000, right, and you don't pay it off this month, when you finally pay that off, when you just paying your minimum, in 5 years you could have well paid $5,000 off your $1,000. And you even forget that you've been on the trip. You done been on the trip 15 times since then, right? It's a setup, but then it's you're supposed to use your credit card
Yeah.
until your next payday.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Like those logic, but
Yeah, but it don't work like that. I know. Yeah, it don't work like that.
So, question,
And you worked it up there. You work where?
no, I went back office. I don't.
But where you work? Come from?
RBC.
RBC, okay.
Yeah.
question, so just need a clarity on this, so at point four, you said that's where you start to find out
What your interest you're getting, you being paid, or that you're paying for the year.
that I paid for the year,
Right.
okay, and then 6 is just for you to see the actual
The
rate,
effective annual rate.
okay, alright.
Yeah. So what happens is in the US when they had the credit crisis, they had a lot of things that people say, oh, you only gotta pay 3%, because the banks would say, oh, it's just 3% you're paying for this mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't tell you the nitty gritty on how many times you're paying interest on that.
Yeah.
So now, or even credit cards, they may say, oh, it's only 9%, but they be hitting you with those. What happens is they're gonna tell you, if you don't pay this credit card every month, or pay it off, banks in the US now have to show what the EAR is on your statement. Because they have to tell you what you're actually paying the bank if you don't pay it off. Because people could see the 3% and say, I'm gonna pay it off right now.
Yeah,
Not
but
knowing
then
that
it adds
it's
up.
accruing. Because every day that number changes. Because every day they're applying interest.
Yeah. So the question is the effective, like again, the effective EAR is calculated after step 4, like when you, how you say, you put in the 75 and then afterwards it's 8123. So that's the difference from that and that is your EAR?
Correct. No,
No?
your EAR is number 6. The difference between that is how much interest you're paying. If you interest you paid for that year.
Okay.
And number 6 is what interest you actually paid for that year.
Okay.
Make sense?
Kind of.
Let me show you. Because if you take this, multiply it by this,
Mm-hmm.
and you add whatever that product is to this base, you're gonna get this.
So, if I multiply the 75 by 8.31,
You should get 623.
6232.
Hmm? You put it by percent?
No, I didn't do that.
Okay. Which is this. Remember now,
Yeah, the difference.
because that's what, and that depends on how many decimal places. That's why you may see a difference. Whatever your exam tell you is the closest one, you put that one there.
Okay.
All right? Because the exam may or may not tell you how many decimal places that you need to go. Because how many decimal places you go dictates what your answer will be. Your answer will change by cents or a couple dollars if you use too much or too little bit decimal places.
Okay.
Okay? But it's safe to always round to 4 decimal places. 0831. It's always safe to round off to 4 decimal places.
It's giving me 1, 2, 3, 25, not 41.
Right, and you could imagine if you are in the bank and you lose a couple cents like that. Yeah, but that was a couple cents. Now imagine if this was in the millions, how much thousands of dollars you'd lose. just by one little number. Okay? Let's look at chapter 4. Chapter 4 deals with equities. Anybody can remember what equities are? Don't worry, you get some homework tonight.
Equities, value, and shares.
Everybody give me their email address, right?
Yes.
Wonderful.
You get me material?
Yeah. And this all means you'll see them tonight.
So I know first. That last thing you gave us, I did that twice, and then I looked at the answer sheet, and both times my answers were wrong.
Not expected to be, because that answer sheet was at that particular date.
Yeah, but then even I know, but even still, I did it as I did it
Current?
dollar to dollar.
But that may be how different, because you have some currencies that have changed drastically since then. So it could be right, it could be wrong, but yeah. All right. So let's look at equities. What are equities?
The value of shares issued by company.
The value of shares issued by company. That's what
That ain't in the book. That's like I did stand up. I did my.
the value of shares. Okay. Equity. Equity is owners' capital. What owners put
By the
into.
book.
We gotta go back. Yeah, I mean. How many persons in here said they did accounts in school?
That was like doing years ago. Sorry.
10 years ago, right? But the least you could do is remember the basic equation for accounting. What's the basic equation?
I should know.
You should know. Anybody? You did accounts in school? No.
It's
Trey, you did accounts in school?
liabilities and assets and those good stuff. Am I right or am I wrong? Assets equals liabilities plus something. I forget what that
Owner's
is.
equity or capital. Some people say capital, some people say owner's equity. Right? Tell me how this makes sense. Assets equals liabilities plus capital. What does this mean to you? Break it down in layman's terms.
So basically what you have is what you owe. And
You have what you have based on
what you
what you borrowed
that.
and what you put in.
Yeah.
Your own money and what you borrowed. That's how you get what you get.
Same thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We good?
See, I remember a little
See,
bit.
a little piece. But it all makes sense. Everything you have in your life, you either borrow to get it, or you had cash to buy it, or you had a combination of both. When you have your house, which is an asset, I mean, some people don't consider a house an asset because until you pay the bike off, that's the bike on. But your car, say if you got a car, right? You pay the bike off. You got the car by putting in your down payment, and the bank lend you the rest. That's how you got your car. Everybody good? Okay. When a person wants to start a business, they can inject their own cash, which is owner's equity, and they can also go and they can borrow money from the bank or from bonds. If they don't use their own cash, they can use somebody else's cash, which makes those other people who put in their cash what? Owners. So equity holders are actually owners.
Equity holders
Mm.
are owners.
If somebody purchases equity in your company and they buy shares in your company, they buy a piece of ownership in your company. Correct? Yeah?
I wish I could remember your name right.
Go ahead.
So you said equity holders are what?
Equity holders are actually owners of your company. So when they buy shares, they buy a piece of your company. The downside, like we said last week, is that when somebody purchases a piece of your company, they have a say in your company. You can't do what you wanted to do in your company.
Would you think? Would you say they have more? I would say once they buy shares and they like on a higher rank. Say if they like match what you put in your company.
They
or
have
put more
as
than-
much say as you.
Yeah.
So if they say, I don't want to, or they don't even have the majority. If they have enough of them who have small parts to come and say, we ain't
No,
doing it,
like majority vote.
it ain't gonna happen.
Okay. Understood.
All right? So, here's where you look at it. Okay, so when you look at let's look at number 2, page 51. Initial public offerings. Anybody, what are IPOs? Off the top of your head, IPOs. I see you highlights, so you can tell me. The book says,
Initial public offering.
what is that? Your own words.
Share to the public.
It's first time shares off, but you know what?
The first time you offer,
I need it.
I'm fine. That's the first time you offer shares to the public. So this is the first time the public has access to your shares.
How would they do that?
Because they need more money. I can't go to the bank. Or I don't want to go to the bank.
So, but then it's more risky.
For who?
The person putting out the IPO.
Why?
Because it's like you deal with the public. You don't know. I mean, you still have to scan the situation.
I know you don't know nothing but the money you give me.
Okay.
Now,
But what if they say they're going to give you the money, but then it's not legit money?
that's true. But that's why you put it through the market. So when they go to the market, your brokerage houses do that for you. So they go to Royal Fidelity, they go to Colina, C-File or whatever, they go to Leno, they collect all their KYC documents and all that to scan you out, make sure you're legit, and then you purchase.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay? So you work like that. Alright, so these owners have a say in your company, and they also purchase a piece of your company. And so oftentimes, when your company does well, what's going to happen is if you want your full say back, you have to buy that back from them.
So basically, it's just like it's like a quick loan in some instance.
Not really a loan because it's an investment. It's an investment
Okay.
that they do.
Okay, not loan, but like a quick borrow that.
Right. Because you need this and you can't get it from nowhere else, or you don't want to get it from nobody else, but you have enough faith in yourself and your company that you're going to get this back.
I think it's a risk. It's just me.
For who?
Like what I just said. Like I mean, I just think it's risky because of the what ifs.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can't worry about what if you just need this money to run your company. And so you have to trust your brokers that they would have done their due diligence. Okay? Now, here we go. You have your owners buying their shares, and you have investors normally coming in at a lower rate. And then when they come in at a lower rate, as the now the thing with investors who come in and purchase equity is that they have two options. Either they become preferred shareholders or they become common shareholders. Anybody know the difference? Anybody want to take a stab at it? It ain't in the book, so you can find it there. Anybody want to take a stab at it?
Preferred shares would be like business, like companies or well-established, but I guess it could be okay.
I mean, that could be. They could be them. But the dog could also be a high net worth person. Preferred are people who their shares are more expensive. Their share cost is more expensive. But they typically, if the company goes bankrupt, right after the people who they borrowed from, they're the first ones to get paid out. Preferred. They normally don't vote. So they don't really have a say.
I don't get a job.
They really don't have a say in the company.
So they're like the background folks who just put a little on it and
The thing is, when the company declares a dividend, they're the first to get paid. Common shareholders are the last to get paid, but they have voting rights. voting rights mean, if I want to build this company, remember I said, you have to go to your shareholders and everybody have to agree. Your common shareholders have a vote in what goes on. But they get paid last. Which one would you rather be in a company?
I'd be preferred because that's just, I would rather have it, but I would rather say
I just want to get
because if it's your
You
company,
get paid.
greedy. I don't know how to be preferred.
Drea, what would you rather be? Preferred or common?
Preferred. I like the idea of being paid out first. I don't
Right.
really have to have too much say.
Think about it too though. Depends on what the people have say. Can it be dependent if you have a company to get paid from?
Makes sense.
You know what? You're right.
That is right.
When you look at it like that.
So I could be saying I get paid first and throw my head back and wait for money, but the people who are the common shareholders,
But is it just
Couldn't-
waiting for money? Would you consider it just an investment?
yeah, that's purely an investment. I ain't gotta have a say,
Yeah.
but I have enough faith in your company you can make money. Now if your common shareholders don't make no sense, I've been making bad decisions.
Could that be decided before you take on the investment?
You also have convertible shares. Convertible shares are, it could be preferred that I could turn into common, or common that I could turn into preferred. I just gotta pay the difference. Make sense?
Yeah.
So you have to call them convertible stocks. Alright? So what happens here is that an investor buying shares is hoping a combination of two things. One, dividends, and two, capital gain. When you hear capital gain, what are you thinking about? This is page 52.
And pay first.
Mm-mm.
No?
Capital gain.
What is it?
Anyone?
What was the question?
What are capital gains?
Profit, basically?
Capital gains just means that the value of your shares increases. Because you wouldn't want to invest in a company where you may just get dividends, but the value of your shares don't increase. In the US,
Don't increase?
right. In the US, they have this thing called capital gains tax. So what happens is you could buy shares at a low rate, and when the company gains, you get a profit. But if you're gonna sell those that you get a profit on, you pay a tax on that profit that you made. They call it capital gains tax. Okay? So, dividends are the regular ongoing income that a shareholder may receive. Many well-established companies pay dividends every quarter or every half year. The amount of dividend paid is not fixed. Instead, it's determined by the management of the company and driven mainly by two things: profitability and expectation. So, let me ask you this question again. Would you rather a company that pays you dividends or a company that does not? I see your left eye just...
About a company that not being paid.
Because why wouldn't you pay dividends? Why would a company pay dividends? They're making money. Just okay, they're making profit. So it ain't like they ain't got the money to pay. Why wouldn't the company pay dividends?
It doesn't bring in
Profit.
No, they make a profit. But they just think you pay dividends. Why? And would you be a part of that company?
I'm feeling I know, but I don't understand. I don't understand.
Drea?
Not sure. I mean, I would want the dividends. I'm not sure why they wouldn't pay.
They wouldn't pay dividends if they're reinvesting in the company. So they call it reinvestment. So they say, if I don't pay dividends this year, matter of fact, I can pay dividends for 5 years. But I promise you, what I was going to pay you in dividends for this year, I'm going to take those profits, reinvest it in the company, upgrade the technology, upgrade the value of the product. So in 5 years, the product will be worth so much more. If the product is worth more, your share is valued more. So you can sell it for more. See, when you make a profit, normally they tell you when you are a business person, you don't make a profit for the first 5 years. It ain't that you don't really make a profit, it just means that you don't spend what you make for the first 5 years. You just keep putting it back in your business. So I ask you again, would you rather a company that pays dividends or not?
I think I'll take a chance and
Get your money.
it's gonna actually reinvest.
Reinvest and then make me more money later.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So why would you choose a company that pays dividends every year?
Why?
If you have an option
I would.
of not.
I would, because it shows, I guess, it shows more discipline in a way. Because if you, it's like you just, there isn't any real investment in the company if you pay it out every year, because the example you said just now, it's like you're putting it back in the company to better the product. That makes sense?
Another thing too is that you may have invested in this company, but you don't see this company being here in 5 years. So you better get all the money you get while you can get it and get your dividends back.
Oh,
I mean, just saying.
no.
Right? So it depends. So your real answer to this question is, it depends on the company.
Yeah.
This may be a company that ain't gonna make no money in 5 years. But when you see a 6 hit, they skyrocket. This may be a company that is a futuristic kind of company, so people may not be hip to it. When cable bombs came out, they were $1 per share.
They were what?
$1 per share.
Oh.
When they got up to as high as $15 a share. So if every dollar if you invested $1,000, if you got the $15 and you cashed it out, you would have gotten $15,000 back. They got that high. So it could put you off companies that started low too, and then they bankrupt. So you have to kind of gauge where the company may be going. You kind of have to gauge what the environment would look like, and so you have different factors that you have to kind of consider. All right. So let's talk about dividend yield. Dividends are usually expressed both in absolute term, such as 99 cents or $1. But when expressed as percentage of the share price, the figure is described as dividend yield. This is on the next side of page 52. A bigger dividend yield means a greater proportion of the share price is being paid to investors. Make sense? No? No? Okay. What it means is that when you look in your stock exchange, when you look in the newspapers and you look at dividend yields and you see a dividend yield of 58%, that means then that whatever that stock price is, which is the value of the company, the majority of that stock price is going towards 58% of that stock price is being pumped back into investors in terms of dividends. So a high dividend yield, if you're looking for that dividend every year, is a good thing. So when you want to know how to buy shares, one thing you look at is the dividend yield. How much money they actually pay back to the investor. Let's look at the example. So let's look at number one. Let's work at number one. Sorry, ABC Incorporated. You all see that? Page 53. You see it, Drea?
Yes.
Okay, let's work it out. Work on my dividend yield. What did I say the formulas for dividend yield? What's my formula for dividend yield?
Total for the year.
10% to 99 cents. No, that's not it.
Total dividends for the year divided by your current share price. Total dividends for the year divided by total share price. Work out, multiply by 100, of course. Because dividend yield, whenever you yield, think percentage. So my question to you is this. Out of those three companies, who pays the highest dividend yield?
Yeah, I understand.
Hmm? Who pays the,
ABC Inc.
how much does ABC Inc. pay dividend yield? Why put that again?
2.51%.
Pardon?
2.51%.
And how much does FGH pay?
2.14%.
And how much does XYZ pay?
1.74%.
Okay. So if you were looking at dividends and looking for a company that pays their investors well, you would choose ABC Incorporated. Make sense? No?
Yeah.
What you would have done was taking your 4.32 divided by 172 and multiply by 100. Do the same thing for the second one and the third one.
Take the 4.32.
Take the total dividends paid in the last year, divided by the share price, and do the dividend yield. Work this dividend yield out for me. You have Amazon who pays $4 quarterly, and their current share price is $150. Work it out for me. What's my dividend yield? They pay $4 quarterly, and their current share price is $150. What's that dividend yield?
$2.66. 2.67.
One person says 2.67%. Tria, what did you get? Tria? Kristen, how much did you get? How did you work it out? It's Andrika? No.
Shantika.
Shandika. Shandika. Shandika.
All divided by 150 times 100. What she did?
I hear you, but yeah, what you do?
She did 4 divided by 150 times 100. If I was marking it,
You was gonna say no?
I was going to say half.
Why?
Because, let's look at it again. Is total dividends paid for the year divided by the share price? Done quarter.
Oh, it's on quarterly, that's how you.
Right.
work it.
So you take your $4
Oh.
times 4.
Okay, you got it.
So what happens is, if I tell you that a company pays something every quarter,
Just
so
to find that out, Fanny, that is?
what?
But you to give a half. Sorry, go on.
See? No,
I know.
She got
I
this.
get what you're saying.
she got this. So if they say every quarter, your dividends was this. Because your dividends, how do they say they determine how to pay your dividends? Your dividends are dependent on two things. What are they? Don't look at the book. What are they?
Like, yeah.
Wow.
I sure we said it though.
Yeah, but no, it's not that.
We said it. There were two things that determines how much dividends or how often your dividends are paid for the year. Depending on what?
It was in the first thing we said. Huh?
Drea?
I ain't saying the wrong thing, man.
Drea? What are two things that determine how much dividends or the amount of dividends that are paid for the year?
Capital gain is one of them. No?
P is one word, E is the next word.
That's powerful.
Very powerful.
Oh, profitability.
Pop,
and
pop,
and extra- So petty.
Zippity. Profitability and expectation. What they made. Ah, Lord. Oh, the camera on? Off? On? Dre, you still with me? Profitability and expectation. Okay? That is what determines how much how much you determine what you gonna invest in when you look in a stock in a company in the stock exchange. You determine what you invest in based on your dividend yield. That's how much money they actually pay the customer. So you don't. So see, some people may look at a what do you call it? Some people may look at the stock price and they say, "Man, this stock price high. I'll buy this." But then don't look at the dividend yield. And not only that, but they could be high like that because it's inflated and because they don't pay you. So you may be growing up in stock price, but then you're not receiving anything from there. All right. So
I saw on this side of the dividend yield.
dividend yield is your total dividends for the year. Divide. This is one of the easiest equations. Total dividends for the year divided by that current
The share price?
share price. That's it. Multiply by 100.
Okay.
That's it. So if they offer like this, if they offer 4 different dividends for the year, you just add all these up, divided by your share price, multiply by 100, and that's your dividend yield.
Okay.
All right? Let's look at the table at the top of page 54.
Actually, if we go kind of fast, but I get it. Just go on.
You get what?
I get what you're saying, but I feel like you're going fast.
You made it to class?
Yeah.
See, I running through the simple stuff, and then we can take our time on the rough stuff. Because you don't get the rough stuff yet.
I know, but
Trust
that's,
I.
that's the thing.
That's why I can help more. Because
That's why I wouldn't invest in a bar.
easy money, eh? I got you. Look at the table. Which company would you invest in? Why?
It's 3.5. Nine.
Who would invest in Alphabet?
Well, it's the third best.
Alphabet?
Oh, I looked at the wrong thing, sorry. Oh, no, 0%.
Who would invest in Alphabet?
I understand how to calculate this, but I don't understand. I can work it out.
What is this
It's
table
costly.
what is this table tell me about Alphabet?
It doesn't have any dividend.
Meaning what?
Nothing is
Mm.
paid.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
Because it doesn't have any ongoing income. I just read that from the, what I highlighted, I just spread it out
Paying
there.
more than what you're receiving. I mean, basically you're receiving nothing, I should say.
You won't get
It's
paid to do that.
costly. Yeah.
But
Receive nothing.
why wouldn't you automatically scratch that out?
It might have potential.
Go on. They may not be paying dividends because they are.
Think about it.
Or they reinvesting.
That's
Right.
the word.
Look at their share price.
The current share price is 87.
What does that tell you?
I feel like I should have done
They don't pay dividends, but they are
share price is high.
high value. So that may be a company you want to look at because they may not pay dividends,
Because
but
they're-
in 10 years you could cash out your investment and get some serious coin.
And that's the highest for
Yeah. Because your share price is often reflective of how the market sees your company.
share price.
Gotcha.
Bada bing?
So, does it make sense? That's the current government.
Hmm?
It just is comparing the table from before with GH Inc. And the share price there, the share price is the highest too.
Yeah. So you have to look at different factors. Okay?
Yeah.
You have shareholders' voting rights. We've already seen verse 4. Say verse 4. Part 4. We've already seen, you can tell it's been church plenty. Verse 4, right? We've already seen that it's the equity holders that own companies. This section looks at the key right that owning shares provides. The right to attend and vote at company meetings. In different parts of the world, company meetings are referred to in different ways. They are often referred to as company assemblies, general assemblies. Typically, they occur once a year, and however they are termed, the format and purpose is the same. These meetings give the owners of the company the opportunity to find out how the company is performing and to make decisions on what would happen. This is where you can come together and vote out the chairman. You can come together, fire the CEO, even if the CEO is a person who started the company. You can fire the CEO and say, you don't mean this company well. The reason that company meetings are necessary is simple. It is very often the case that the day-to-day management of a company is performed by people who are not the owners of that company as shown below. And what's the downfall of that? You hear what I say, right? You hear what I say? Yay.
It is performed by,
Yay.
the day-to-day management is performed by persons who are not the owners of the company. That means they can do basically whatever they want, because they don't really care, because they ain't losing nothing.
How much time do you leave work early?
I don't know what that means.
What, leave work early? How many times you print off some of the school?
I mean,
Well,
one.
I have to copy this.
Yeah, only one, yeah.
How would you feel if you owned a share in your company
Listen, people.
and you got somebody working there? And they're paying your salary and you copying it, it could be a problem. See, people who own a company think differently than people who just work there.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So the reason why these people come together once a year is because I don't work here every day, but I want to know what y'all doing. And if y'all doing foolishness, I want to fire whoever's the head. Because y'all wasting my money. Why y'all expenses growing every year and the profits ain't growing?
Sorry, that doesn't nerve.
Yeah, that's at you. I understand, that's at you. Alright, let's look at it. As the above diagram shows, it is at company meetings that the management of the company provide an update for the owners. No problem. It was a long day for all of us. And are also available to be questioned about the company's performance and plans. So the persons who run the company every day come and make a presentation on how the company is doing, and they have to answer questions by the owners who are the shareholders. So even if you only own $10 in that company, you have a right to ask them, what you know my $10?
Yeah.
Alright?
So what about the people, so what about the actual owner?
Which one the actual owner?
I mean, like, even though you have shares,
The majority shareholder?
yeah.
What happened to them?
You mean at this meeting?
Yeah.
What they should be on?
But then
Or they send a proxy. You know what a proxy is?
an assistant.
Somebody who represents you. So they can vote for you. If you're in there, you can send somebody to vote in your stead. That's what proxy is, PROXY. Alright? The risk involved in owning shares. As owners of a company, the shareholders face the risk that the company does not do well. If the company makes no profit, it will not be in a position to pay any dividends to the shareholders. And those shareholders are unlikely to be able to sell the shares and make any capital gain. Bring it up.
I almost took my eye out. Could you have me that thorn here? Thank you.
Alright? I can let y'all go soon because, gotta get off these streets before the people start throwing eggs.
Oh, yeah.
He parked all the way over there in the thing. So you have to walk through the dark alley.
By yourself or you bought?
Back over the way.
Yeah. I was trying to park in front of the building.
There's a parking right here across. No, I mean that's why I parked. There's parking across here. After 5, there's spots. So if you want to walk through that way, you can walk.
I was going to park in the front of the
I
building.
know you're parking in front of the door. I know.
For one car, so my car only this big, so I could do that.
Or you get one of them.
Yeah, I'm one of them. Them bullies.
That's how they go, Yeah. And they know.
Okay. But I think this proves what I was saying earlier about the preferred and the common share and those ones.
I'll
About,
see you at the end of the book. I mean, the end of the chapter.
yeah. So I was saying it's a risk because the company, I am reading it, I'm just glancing because of bankruptcy and then you say the company not making it.
Yeah. So it says equity. You also deal with little sharks, baby shark, mommy shark, daddy shark. Yeah. Equity is at the bottom of the food chain. In the event of collapse, it will be the lenders that get their money first.
Yeah.
Only if anything is left will the shareholders get anything at all. Because the owner or the captain goes down with the ship.
Yeah.
And you can have either limited liability or unlimited liability. Anybody know the difference? You remember? Limited liability means whatever you put in is what you lose. Unlimited means if the ship go up, everything you have, they come after your house, they come after your car, they come after your horse, they come after your dog, they come after everything. They take everything. Your dog too. If your dog was listed as your asset, they come after that. But with limited liability, only what I invested in the company, you could come after. What's the big R word that speaks to all this? Higher the risk, higher the return. In summary, the risk faced by shareholders are that the company's level of profits means it is unable to pay dividends, and that the value of the shares falls potentially to zero if the company collapses into bankruptcy.
Who's your book?
I'm going to be sending you homework.
On everything you said tonight?
Probably not everything, but I'm definitely on
I can't believe
EAR,
Okay.
definitely on what balance I'll have at this particular time. And it could be rough because I could tell you I need to know what my balance could be in 4 years, 3 years,
Off the mic.
2 years.
And this due next week?
Mm-hmm.
Like it isn't like the thing you gave us last week, right? You ain't getting that you gave us last week, right?
No,
Okay, good.
but I get in this homework. No, we can discuss it in class.
This is for a real grade? Okay.
Your grade is, but it's for to help with
Okay,
understanding.
so can I?
So I would advise you to do it.
Can I not give if I don't understand?
You mean, yeah, that's why you have my thing on.
Cause like I'm a little late.
Yeah, no problem.
I understand, I'll read.
Yeah. Yeah. But no problem.
Okay, I'm getting a headache already, like a little bit.
That's fine. Time as you go through it when you're home, it'll be this much. But you'll be fine.
Okay.
Go to the same bar you invested in. Get my